didn't see you there. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to style dark academia in the summer. Hello friends, I come to you with my encyclopedia of Tolkien. I'm going to put it down now. Today's plan is to put together some outfits and kind of walk you through how I have been styling dark academia outfits in summer. I think a lot of the times when we picture this aesthetic, we imagine it in the colder months, winter and fall, especially fall, but it's not an aesthetic that can't be worn any time of year. So I put together a handful of outfits, just kind of gathered all of the things in my wardrobe that both made sense for this aesthetic and also for the summer, and have decided to style them all for you guys, and hopefully by showing you the outfits and kind of walking you through my thought process when picking them out, you'll also find some ways to style some dark academia outfits in your wardrobe. But before we jump into the video, don't forget to pause, go down below and hit that subscribe button. It's totally free and I'll let you know when I upload new videos, which is hopefully going to be every Thursday. If you guys would prefer me to go back to Wednesday, let me know down below. You can also feel free to check me out on Instagram and TikTok. I'm posting a ton of content over there, though I tend to cross-post it here on the shorts as well. Now let's go ahead and jump into this video about styling dark academia outfits in the summer. Okay, before we dive fully in, what is dark academia? I'm going to give a very brief recap because I have done a more in-depth video on this aesthetic before. I've actually created a ton of content on this aesthetic, so you guys can check it out. I'll link it up here and also include the playlist down below on our aesthetic explorations, because here on this channel we love fashion aesthetics. But essentially, the dark academia aesthetic, which also I named this video Dark Academia, but we will be exploring dark and light academia. I'm actually preferential to light academia in the summer and in the springtime, but I know that some of you guys like dark academia too, so it's going to be a mashup of both of them. Essentially, the academia aesthetics are inspired by what students were wearing at Oxford, especially around the 1920s to 40s, and therefore they have a very British styling sensibility. You see lots of loafers with socks, plaid skirts and shorts, collared tops. Normally when we see this aesthetic in the fall and winter, we see blazers and long button-ups. We see long dress slacks that are high-waisted with thick belts, heavy sort of peat and trench coats. Normally when we think of this aesthetic, we picture fabrics like tweed and wool for your overwear, for your pants, for your skirts, things like that. But in summer, those aren't the most practical materials, so we're definitely going to have to adapt that. The color palette is going to mostly stay the same. It tends to err on the side of darker colors. I've seen some debate as to whether or not dark academia includes black, which I thought is really interesting. From my understanding and from the extensive research that I've done on this aesthetic, black is definitely a cornerstone of it. In my head, lumping light and dark academia together, the color palette includes colors such as black, brown, creams, whites, tans, navy blue, and then you also have these sort of accent colors that you can weave in. They're generally not the main color in the aesthetic, but oftentimes jewel tones are found woven in as accent colors, things like emeralds and citrines, dark sort of rust oranges, things like that can oftentimes be like woven in but are not generally the main color palette. Now that you have a better understanding of the visual part of the aesthetic, hopefully you have a better idea as we head into this. I guess I should just also add, this aesthetic has a lot more to it than just the visual aspects of it. It's definitely translated into music taste, literature taste. A big part of this aesthetic is a heavy focus on academia, clearly. So a well-rounded knowledge of the classics, of literature, of languages, of a lot of the times archaeology and anthropology are a big part of this aesthetic, history, all of those kinds of things. There's a whole subculture around it, so if you guys want to learn more about that, you can check out my other videos, or I'll also link some resources down below that I've used. I'm also putting together a guide over on my Patreon, which is going to break this aesthetic down in depth. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I'll be sure to let you guys know here on the channel whenever that is live. Now, let's jump into the outfits, my friends. Okay, here's outfit number one. One theme that you're going to pick up throughout this video is that dark academia is really just an aesthetic made up of classic basics. Most of the pieces that make up these outfits are very simple, are just high quality, and stick to a very classic academic style. So we're gonna start from the bottom with this one and work our way up, and I will point out sort of what makes each of these pieces special as we go. Let's start with this bag here. This is actually my camera bag, but it fits this aesthetic so well. Leather satchels, leather bags, things like that are just so classic within this aesthetic. I have a leather backpack I'll whip out later if I can find it, but for the most part, any kind of like leather bag or sort of dark materialed bag that's well constructed fits really well within this aesthetic. So I'm gonna put my bag down, but brown leather is just like one of my favorites. It's just like so pretty, and I love how warm brown is. Brown is definitely like one of my favorite colors, so definitely I have a lot of it. Now, talking about the outfit, I loved that this bag pretty much is the exact same leather color as my shoes. These are just some heeled Oxfords. They do have some more feminine and whimsical details to them, which match my personal style, and I think, as with every aesthetic, and I say this all the time, make the aesthetic work for you. If you want to stick to the aesthetic to a T, that's amazing as well. For me, I like to sort of infuse a little bit of individuality into all of the aesthetics that I try. So you're going to see that with these shoes and the scalloped details on the heel, while a classic Oxford or Mary Jane is a absolute staple within this aesthetic. These have a little bit of je ne sais quoi, if you will. These are from Charlie Stone shoes. They're quite old now, so they don't have these exact shoes anymore, but they definitely have similar ones. I will say, these ones have definitely seen better days. There are no soles on the bottom of the heel anymore. I lost them while walking through the city one day. Moving up, I have on these brown shorts. Now, these might look familiar to you, and you might be like, weren't those once pants? Yes, they were. I wore these as pants for years and years, and then I just started to not really love how they looked as pants anymore, and I thought to myself, what if I tried them as shorts? I love them as shorts. So this is just your classic pleated tailored trouser. I thrifted these at the Goodwill. They're this kind of lighter weight material. They're actually quite thin, but they have I'm not even sure how to really explain this texture. It almost feels like it could be a summer tweed, if you would. But they're very lightweight, which is nice for summer. Obviously, one of the most important things about summer wear is that there are lightweight fabrics, since especially, at least where I live, summer is very hot. So you want to go with something a little bit more lightweight. I paired it with a belt. I feel like belts are really big. I know a lot of people don't like wearing belts in the summer. I don't have a problem with it. I wear belts if they make sense for an outfit. But maybe you don't want to wear a belt. You could totally do this without one, or you can go for a thinner belt that gives a little bit less restriction if maybe it's an issue of how tight everything is to the body, you know? Moving up, I have on this collared sleeveless sweater top. Now, did I say sweater in summer? Yes, but again, it's a very light, thin kind of knit. You know the kind of knit I'm thinking of. It's not one of those like really cozy, chunky ones. It's very light. This is a preference thing. For me, I don't mind wearing a light sort of knit in the summer. It also is a really light color. This is a really warm, soft tan, so it's not gonna absorb as much heat. And it's also not super close to the body. As you can see, there's a lot of room here, so there's some airflow that can happen, which is again another important thing to consider, especially when we're doing dark colors in summer. So your two basic items here are your tailored pants and your sleeveless collared top. These are two power items. You can pair them with basically anything in your wardrobe, and they're also a power combination. Together, they just scream light or dark academia. I feel like this outfit's kind of giving medium academia because we have like dark pants, light top, but oftentimes you have light tops with dark pants and dark academia too. So anyway, tailored shorts, sleeveless collared top. When it comes to dark academia, I tend to err on the side of classic accessories, so I am probably going to keep most of my accessories pretty much the same as we go. I just have on some gold hoops and a little tiny gold ball stud, and then I have on my half gold, half pearl front clasp from Kalani Accessories, which is one of my favorite jewelry brands. It's a small business. And so I always recommend her stuff. Basically, like any video, I'm always wearing at least one piece by her. Totally recommend her stuff. It's just like such good quality. I've had this necklace for like 4 years and it looks brand new. Okay, here's outfit 2. I actually think these outfits are really similar, but whereas the first one felt kind of softer because it had a lighter color palette, this one feels like it has a bit more edge to it almost. Let's start with the bottom. We're gonna start with my shoes here. I have on some black loafers and I paired them with some white socks. These loafers are from the brand called Wild Pair, and oh my gosh, they're so comfortable. If you have sensitive feet, I have sensitive feet, and you're kind of nervous about like the whole Doc Marten situation, I definitely did not have great luck with my first pair of Docs. The only way I've been able to wear Docs now is I bought them secondhand. So somebody else went through the labor of breaking them in, but these ones, instantly comfortable. They're so great. I've had these for about 2 years now, and I love them. Chef's kiss. They basically have the exact same style. The only difference is it's white thread instead of yellow, so I mean, it's only if you're that particular. I am not. So I started with these big chunky black loafers. These are a staple shoe in this aesthetic. Black loafers, whether or not they look like this or not, but these are kind of like those Oxford style loafers that I personally really love, and a lot of people who participate in this aesthetic also really love and tend to use often. Again, this is an Oxford student inspired look, so it just makes sense to wear Oxford kind of style shoes as well. Like I said, I paired them with white socks. I feel like this is a really classic combination. No matter what your aesthetic, like lots and lots of people kind of do this style all together. I do this style all the time. I love pairing crew socks with black chunky loafers, or really any kind of chunky shoe. I think it looks really fun. Moving up, I have on these black, again, pleated tailored trousers. These I got at Old Navy. They're in like a linen material, which I think is important because again, it's a lightweight fabric and a dark color, so you're kind of trading one thing for the other. Now, they're definitely not my favorite shorts in the world. I don't love the fit. I kind of go back and forth on whether or not I like them or not, to be honest. I did go in and add a belt. This one's got a little bit of glitz and glam. Again, throwing in my personality, you definitely could just do a standard solid belt buckle if you wanted. This is just the black belt I own. And then for a top option, instead of going with a collar, I thought that a mock neck was actually a really great option. I think a lot of the times in dark academia you see the sweaters with mock necks underneath of it in the winter months. So I thought a fun way to tie that in was to wear a sleeveless mock neck for the summer. Now, of course, depending on where you live, depends on whether or not you're going to be comfortable with something around your neck. Maybe something around your neck is just like out of the question, it's too hot. A tank top would also look so good with this. You could really just wear like a plain black tank and it would still look really cool and would still fit within this aesthetic. I accessorized it really similarly. I kept the same earrings and necklace on, but this time I did throw on a black headband. You could definitely throw in a pop of color with your headband if that was something you wanted to do. I liked the kind of consistency of all black throughout, and I threw my hair up in a ponytail. I feel like if I'm gonna wear a mock neck in the summer, I'm gonna be wearing my hair up so that there's not layers and layers and layers directly on the back of my neck. This at least takes it off of my neck a little bit so that I'm not sweating profusely. And this is this look. I think it's really cute, and again, the staple pieces here are actually your black chunky loafers, the trouser shorts, and the mock neck. Alright, this one may piss off some of the purists. One thing I've learned about doing aesthetic content on the internet is that some people are very protective over their aesthetics, but this channel is all about having fun with fashion, so that's what we're doing here. I do think that this outfit fits well within the aesthetic. Maybe if you don't, maybe it feels a bit more inspired. I feel like it works. So let me walk you through it. So firstly, same loafer socks combination as earlier, but then I decided to go for a skirt and collared button-up situation. So for this look, I just have on a A-line shaped skirt. I feel like A-line shaped skirts are really popular within this aesthetic. Also pleated skirts, and I think an A-line is a great alternative for people who maybe don't like how pleated skirts look. Personally, they're not my favorite. I don't love what the pleating looks like when I have it on. I think they're really cute on other people. It's just not really my preferred style, so I tend to err on the side of a circle skirt or an A-line. I think I got that Ross Dress for Less if I remember correctly. It is a suede material, which you wouldn't immediately think suede when you think summer, but you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be this material. This just happens to be the one I have. A nice cotton or linen would do just fine. Moving up, I have on the divisive piece. This is a cropped sleeveless button up. It also has these like ties around it because it's supposed to like wrap around your body, make cool designs, whatever. I almost never utilize that function the way it's supposed to be. I actually just like how it looks with like the short ties, and honestly at some point I might cut the length of them off. They're so long. But I do feel like even though this is cropped, which is not really, I mean, that wasn't a style they were wearing at all during the time period this aesthetic is inspired by, I feel like this is a fun way to modernize this look. So this is just from the Future Collective collection from Target. I bought this years ago. but I do feel like the crop top adds like an edge of modernity to this look, and it also is nice and breathable for the summer when it's really, really hot. I also think this is a really nice lightweight sort of cotton material, which is great, and it has these pearl details that I think add a little bit of character. They also tie in the necklace really well, and of course a sleeveless collared shirt, as I said before, is always a go-to when it comes to dark academia, light academia, all the academias in summer. I do think it's important to mention that cardigans have a place in every season. And a lot of the time, it is hot outside, but then we go inside and the air conditioning is blasting. I 10 out of 10 recommend carrying a cardigan around with you, and they're perfect for the dark academia aesthetic. You can just throw one on and you're good to go. They basically just go with all dark academia outfits, so you don't really have to ever question whether or not it's gonna work. Okay, this outfit here is probably one of my favorites of the bunch. It's actually an outfit I wear all the time. I particularly wear this outfit actually in the fall and winter. I just throw in a pair of black tights underneath, and this top combination is something I live for. But let's start from the bottom and work our way up, breaking it down. Kept it with the same shoe sock combination, crew socks, loafers. To be honest, for me, I feel like the hardest part about styling dark academia in summer is the shoe game. I don't really know what kind of shoes you would wear aside from just like what you would wear in the other seasons. Right, as I sit here editing this video, I realize I actually do have some summer dark academia shoe suggestions, so let me walk you through them. Up first, we're talking the thick leather chunky heeled slides. I think these are so classic and just really beautiful, and to be honest, I kind of want a pair. This shoe to me kind of feels like the leather loafer of the summer. Option 2 is the ancient Greek sandal. Now I'm not talking about gladiator sandals or gladiator flip-flops, which I guess could be a move, but like for me that doesn't really feel like it fits within this aesthetic. But the ancient Greek sandal, if you will, is that woven like this sort of basket weave leather sandal. Both of these shoe options come in an array of colors. They're generally leather based, which I think is really important actually for this aesthetic. And yeah, you can get them in browns, blacks, creams, or in a color if you wanted to add one of those sort of jewel tone accent colors, navy blue, something like that. You totally could do it with your shoe. As an alternative shoe option, if you're trying to bring this look a little bit more into modernity, because it does have a sort of vintage flair to it, I'm gonna say it, Doc Marten Blairs. I feel like they make sense. Now, I have a pair of these. I didn't style them in this video, but I do think that they could work if you want to, like I said, make this feel a little bit more contemporary. My only suggestion with Blairs is that I kind of have like mixed feelings with them. Sometimes absolutely so comfortable, no issues at all. Other times they rub so intensely on the front of my ankle, like foot area. Band-aids, people wear band-aids there, and I've actually, that's helped. Like if I wear a band-aid, I don't feel anything. So if you can find just some flesh toned band-aids, or if you want to be like ballsy with it and do like a fun, I don't know, like color or something, like a Hello Kitty pattern, something funny, go for it. But like I tend to go for like a flesh toned band-aid and just cover sort of that section right in the front where the strap kind of overlaps. It's because the material is so thick there, that is why it rubs so incessantly and then causes blisters or just straight up cut the front of my foot one time. So those are my 3 options for dark academia summer shoes. I hope you found this helpful. Moving up though, I have on this black skirt. This is just a sort of tight fitted bodycon skirt. It is made of like a suede material, but again, they make these in cottons and linens as well. I actually have a white one in a really pretty linen, but I think I would actually be fine wearing this in summer. It's like, again, really like a thin material, and it's short. It's like very short. So if your concern is like maybe like sweat in the midriff area, then maybe this isn't the best material for you. I would consider a cotton or a linen, something along those lines, something a bit more breathable, or even consider a different shape. You definitely don't have to do something that is bodycon. Like I said, A-line skirts are a top tier choice for me, and then also pleated skirts would look so pretty with this. This skirt I thrifted on Poshmark, and it is just, yeah, one of my favorites. I wear it all the time. It will stay in my wardrobe so long as it fits me. Moving up, I have on the top combination that I love. When I had my corporate job, this was actually a top combination I would wear to work all the time. So basically, I would just wear some sort of collared shirt, and since we're talking summer, I went for this really lightweight kind of like rayon. It's definitely made of a plasticky material, white short sleeve button up, and then over top of it I have on this black jersey knit tank top. In dark academia, we often think about sweater vests as a way to accessorize. They're a really, really popular piece of clothing within this aesthetic, and of course, it's a little hot for a sweater vest, so a great alternative is a tank top. Now, I have this square neck one that I think works really well, and it gives off that sweater vest kind of vibe, but you can also wear just like a normal tank top. This one was in like the work clothes, like the professional wear section at Maurice's, but for sure you can buy just like a plain tank top from like Walmart, Target, wherever it is that you like to shop, and it would have the same desired effect. Overall, this is definitely one of my favorite outfits. Oh, I forgot, I accessorized it with this black leather bag. This was actually my grandma's, and it was the one thing that I got from her when she passed away over a decade ago now. And this side is not so dark academia with like the cute little silver hearts, but if you like flip it on the back, it kind of looks a little bit like a briefcase because it's pretty big. So I felt like this worked really well for the aesthetic. And yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite outfits of the bunch, and it's an outfit I'm wearing on repeat. Okay, this next outfit is like my least favorite of the bunch, but I wanted to show it to you guys anyway. I don't love how these two ended up pairing together, but there are some key things about each piece that I think can be helpful for while you guys are styling some of your outfits. So we'll start from the bottom and work our way up as is usual. First off, I have on these pointed toe ballet flats. I thought like ballet flats was kind of like an alternative to a loafer. I think a more classic Mary Jane would have been better, but for the sake of variety, I put on these little ballet flats. This is also a fun way to interject some of your own style. If maybe you're a ballet flats fan, then this is definitely a fun way to add a little bit of femininity to an otherwise pretty masculine aesthetic. Moving up, I have on this little skirt here. Now, this skirt I made, it definitely did not measure correctly. It is a little tight. I don't even think it's zipped up all the way in the back. It's definitely not. This is just a reminder that even people who have a lot of years of experience can still make mistakes. Luckily, I was able to like zip it up enough that I can kind of show you guys the general idea. So the reason I decided I wanted to show you guys the skirt anyway is, so firstly, it's a half circle skirt. A full circle skirt would give you an entire half circle if I were to hold it out straight. This gives you a quarter circle when I hold it out straight. So it still has some whooshability to it, and I think that this is a really, really similar style to school uniforms, which is why I thought it was important to show it to you guys. Also, the plaid of it all. I don't have a ton of plaid in my wardrobe anymore. It's definitely something I want to add more of as I continue to sort of update my wardrobe. But plaid and houndstooth are kind of like the quintessential dark academia patterns, so I wanted to throw on this skirt so that I can illustrate some of the plaidness of it. I feel like a plaid top would have looked really cool too. I just don't have one. Moving up, I went with this oversized linen white button-up. The shapes of these don't really go together. I'm not sure what's happening, but like something about it feels off balanced. I think it's because they're doing like the same thing basically, so it kind of is making me look tiered almost in a funny way. So definitely I probably would want to go with something that's like a little bit better fitted on top, something like this, but this is meant to have an oversized fit, which is really nice for summer because, you know, not having things super close to the body keeps the heat off. And also this is really, really lightweight, so lightweight that you can definitely see my undergarments underneath the top, which I think is a cool style. But of course, if you didn't, you could always wear like a lightweight tank top or a slip dress underneath. Since you are wearing a skirt, you could totally wear a slip dress. This is a full long sleeve top, which is nice, I think, because again, the inside outside of it all, in summer you're kind of like playing a constant game of too hot, too cold. So having a lightweight shirt that you can roll the sleeves up and then maybe pull them down if you get a little chilly, it's definitely convenient. I did decide to pair it with this fun little headband and threw my hair up in a ponytail. I mean, it's definitely not my favorite, but it's within the light academia kind of family. It kind of feels very Blair Waldorf to me, a little bit more like feminine within this aesthetic. So I think it's a fun option if you wanted to add a little bit of softness, maybe even a little bit more youthfulness. I do feel like the academia aesthetic feels very mature, and this outfit is giving a little bit like softer, a little bit younger, so this is an option. Okay, and here is the last look. So for this outfit, same shoe combination, shoe and sock situation, and then I decided I wanted to show you guys the versatility of a pinafore. Pinafores are aesthetic gems. They fit within a ton of different aesthetics, and I really feel like it is a go-to option. The same thing goes for actually like tank top dresses. You can really fit them into so many different aesthetics. the styling options are endless because they are basics. Now this was a t-shirt dress from, I think, LuLaRoe. Is that the one with the documentary? I thrifted it on ThredUp and then I thrift flipped it. It was a just basic oversized t-shirt dress, and then I added the deep V, cut off the sleeves, and then used the extra fabric to create a tie in the back so that I could sort of cinch it in at the waist and create this like really pretty figure. So this is just a black and actually baby pink. It's like the same color as my wall plaid, and obviously you might not want to go with pink if you're thinking dark academia, but obviously I'm just showing you guys what I have and also interjecting a little bit of my personality. I decided to pair it with this black and white collared top. I got this on Poshmark. It's just a black collared top and all of the kind of collar and cuff details are white. I love that contrast and I feel like it is a fun way to add some color blocking, a little bit of visual interest and depth to an outfit. This is a pretty simple outfit, but it's also really effective and really comfortable. You can also easily pair this with like a white shirt, or if you're wearing like a brown plaid, you could do a brown shirt underneath. I think that would look really, really cool and be a fun way to add a little bit more color and visual interest to your look. But overall, I feel like pinafore dresses or tank top dresses like this one are chameleons. They can fit into so many different style ways and are therefore, in my opinion, great wardrobe investments. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I'm actually so excited to be wearing some of these outfits this summer and excited to see how I can transition them into the fall and winter, because I definitely find myself leaning more towards cottagecore, soft girl, coastal granddaughter in the spring and summer, and then leaning more towards like dark academia and sort of the dark kind of fantasy goth punk kind of styles in the fall and winter. So it'll be interesting to see how I can incorporate some of these dark academia and light academia looks into my summer wardrobe, and then how I can transition them into my fall and winter stylings. I'd love to see some of the dark and light academia outfits you guys are wearing, so if you're interested, feel free to tag me on Instagram or TikTok. Can you do that? Yeah, you can tag people on TikTok. So yeah, tag me on Instagram and TikTok if you end up styling any outfits. Aside from that, don't forget to subscribe down below and stick around for a part 2 to last week's video where I styled summer aesthetics. Next week the plan is, fingers crossed, to style outfits based on the aesthetics you guys want to be wearing this summer. So stick around for that one, and I think that's all I have for you. So don't forget, it costs absolutely nothing to be kind, so be kind to yourself and others. Drink some water because I haven't had any all day. I'll see you next time. Bye!